Hare Krishna dear devotees. We are going to be singing this very nice bhajan today. It is called Kali Kukur. It is describing Lord Chaitanya's pastimes. It is a very, very interesting song, very nice song, and very relishable song. So we can sing this today as we prepare for the Bhagavatam class and on the way to Gaur Purnima. Let me share my screen. Present. Is everybody able to see this? Can somebody verbally say yes?
Yes.
Okay, I hope everyone can see it. Ramesh Prabhu, Darpan Prabhu. Okay.
Yes.
The song is called Kali Kukur Khadan. The official name is Uchchabas Kirtan, Nam Kirtan, Song 1, Prabhati Giti by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. The book name is Kalyana Kalpataru and the language is Bengali. सनातन पालना हरिदास मोधन धीरा रूपानंद वर्धन सनातन पालना हरिदास मोधन धीरा ब्रजरस भावना दुष्टमत साधना कपटी विघातन कामा ब्रजरस भावना दुष्टमत साधना कपटी विघातन कामा शुद्ध भक्त पालना शुष्क ज्ञान दान चला भक्ति दोषन रामा शुद्ध भक्त पालना शुष्क ज्ञान दान चला भक्ति दोषन रामा ब्रजरस भावना दुष्टमत साधन कपति विघातन कामा ब्रजरस भावना दुष्टमत साधन कपटि विघातन कामा शुद्ध भक्त पालना शुष्क ज्ञान दान चल भक्ति दोषन रामा शुद्ध भक्त पालना शुष्क ज्ञान दान चल भक्ति दोषन रामा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय प्रभुपादा 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 जय प्रभुपादा प्रभुपाद 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 श्रील प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 श्रील प्रभुपाद जय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि वो श्रील भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जय श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय जय वैष्णव ठाकुर की जय Hare Krishna. So thank you, dear devotees, for following along with that bhajan. So we can read the translation of this song. It's Very nice song, actually. It's all about the names of Lord Chaitanya. So I can read the first one. This is actually, I love this picture. This picture is Dhameshwar Mahaprabhu. If you go on Navadip Mandal Parikrama, he's there. So Dhameshwar Mahaprabhu, or this is in what's that place? Panihati. This is close to Panihati. Very nice deity. He has his hands out just waiting for you. So if you want to get rid of the influence of the dog-like personality of Kali, then just sing the glories of the beautiful son of Mother Sachi Nandana. He is the savior of the Kali Yuga Pavana, and he is Kali Bhaya Nashana, the destroyer of all fear caused by the age of quarrel. Anybody want to read number 2?
He maddens Sri Gadadhar with his name Gadadhar Madana. He is the treasure of the life of Sri Nityananda Prabhu, Nityer Prana Dhana, and he is the most worshipable object of Sri Advaita Acharya, Advaita Prapujita. He is affectionately named Nimai by his mother due to being born under a neem tree, and he has been named Vishwambar by his grandfather. He is the only lord of Shrivas Ishwar, and he steals the hearts of all the assembled devotees. Bhakta Samuha Chitachora.
Number 3, anybody?
Yeah, I can go. Lord Chaitanya is the moon over Nadia Sasadar, the Lord of Sri Mayapurishwar, and the divine propagator of his own name, Nama Pravartanasura. He is the instructor of family men, Grihijana Sikshaka, and he is also the hero of those who are in the renounced order, Nyasikula Nayaka. He is the husband of the goddess of fortune, Madhava, and he is overflowing with the ecstatic moods of the sentiments of Srimati Radharani, Radha Bhavapura. Hari.
Thank you, Prabhu. Number 4, anybody? No? Okay, I can read that. Lord Chaitanya is the corrector and purifier of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, Sarvabhauma Shodhana, and the deliverer of King Prataparudra, Gajapati Tarana, the source of nourishment of Srila Ramananda Roy, Ramananda Poshana, and he is a great hero, Veera. He increases the ecstasy of Srila Rupa Goswami, Rupananda Vardhana. He is the maintainer and protector of Srila Sanatana Goswami, Sanatana Palana. He gladdens Haridas Thakur, Haridas Modhana, and he is very grave, Dhira. Number 5, last one.
I can read Hari Prabhu.
Sure.
Go ahead.
Number 5, Lord Chaitanya is the source of all the transcendental mellows of Braj Dhama. Braja Rasa Bhavana. I'm sorry, I was running outside. Give me 1 second.
Take your time, Aji.
He is the destroyer of all mischievous and wicked mentality, Dushtatma Satana, and he dissolves the mundane lust of the deceitful, insincere souls by his causeless mercy. Kapati Vigatana Kama. He maintains and protects his pure Vaishnava devotees, Shuddha Bhakta Palana, and he chastises dry speculative knowledge, Shushka Jana Tadana. He destroys pretentious and hypocritical devotion, Chala Bhakti Dushana, and he is the reservoir of pleasure, Rama.
Jai, Hare Krishna.
Thank
Thank you, dear devotees. This is a nice song. So we'll take a couple minutes and we can speak some reflections what we've had on this song. Does anybody have any reflections, realizations, thoughts about this song? It's a very beautiful song. I was thinking that in this kind of like the brother of Yashomati Nandana, like Yashomati. There's a song by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. We sing this during Darshanarti in the ISKCON Columbus Temple. Yashomati Nandana Vrajavara Nagara Gokula Ranjana Kana. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur is giving another song, but it's about Lord Chaitanya, and you can just meditate upon these songs all day. And actually in this verse, number 4, these are actually all I wouldn't say characters, but they're players in this book Chaitanya Charitamrita, and you can read about all of them in Chaitanya Charitamrita if you're not familiar with them. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he was a great scholar of his day, and Lord Chaitanya defeated his arguments. Maharaj Prataparudra was a king. Ramananda Roy was also a magistrate, and Rupa Goswami and Sanatan Goswami and Haridas Thakur were all his great devotees. So if you're not familiar with these devotees, you can read about them in CC. Does anybody else have any other thoughts about this? I can even pull out any verse. Yeah, and then Bhaktivinoda Thakur is also using this idea of contrast in a lot of these verses. Like in Krishna and the Bhagavad Gita, there's this verse that says that he is the he gives life to the vegetables, and I think the moon gives life to the vegetables. But then immediately after that, he uses this contrast. He's showing how big he is, and then he says, I'm also in the heart, and I'm the smallest as well. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur is kind of using that same thing, that he's showing so big things, and he's showing so small things as well, especially in this verse. He's saying that he's the instructor of family men, grihastas, and grihijana shikshaka, but he's also the hero of those who are sannyasis, renounced order. And then he is the husband of the goddess of fortune, with a lot of money and a lot of opulence and all this, but he's overflowing with the ecstatic moods and sentiments of Srimati Radharani, Radha Bhava Pura. So I thought that was quite interesting as well. So we have any last thoughts about this song? Or speak now or forever hold your peace. No? Okay. So we will pause our study of the song of the Vaishnava Acharyas this week, and we will continue with our next part of the program, which is a Srimad Bhagavatam class on Canto 1, Chapter 5, text 17 through 20. So today we had the pleasure of having His Grace Gokuleshwar Prabhu scheduled for the class. Unfortunately, Prabhu has there's some special visitors coming to the temple, and then so he to the Juhu temple, and he unfortunately will not be able to serve the Srimad Bhagavatam class today. But in record fashion, actually today Alek Prabhu was supposed to give the class today, but what happened was that Prabhu was just so busy at work. And, he said, Prabhu, I don't think I can do it. And so I scheduled Gokuleshwar Prabhu. And then what happened is that Gokuleshwar Prabhu scheduled. So Alek Prabhu just got knocked back into the slot. So we're going to hear from Alek Prabhu today. What can I say about Alek Prabhu? When I came back from New York, he said I was gonna buy a hotel to quarantine myself, and his heart is so nice and pure and fresh. And he said, just come stay in one room at our house. And he's does so much services, and he's a kirtan fanatic, and he reads Srila Prabhupada's books with an intensity, and he has his own group, the Krishna book reading group, and then he's encouraging students and young people on how to practically apply Krishna consciousness in their lives. So Alek Prabhu is a great inspiration in my life, and he's a great inspiration for many people around the globe and around the globe. So We are very excited to hear from him today. So the schedule right now on the East Coast, it's 8:07 a.m. Prabhu will speak for 45 minutes to 1 hour. And then after that, we'll have question answer discussion. And actually, Prabhu might shift it up a little bit. He might make the class his own. So Prabhu, you can take it over from now. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Hari Prabhu. Just for everyone's record, Hari Prabhu is my hero. He is just giving opportunity to serve him and all the Vaishnavas so many opportunities he gives. So thank you so much, Hari Prabhu. I guarantee everyone on the call would say the same thing. So big shoes to fill. Gokuleshwar Prabhu was supposed to give the class, and now I'm here. But I'll try. I'm just gonna share what I heard from Prabhupada basically, and we will go through the verses, and hopefully others. There are so many wonderful Vaishnavas: Naveen Krishna Prabhu, Ram Tirtha Prabhu, Ramesh Prabhu, Vasanta Mataji, and a lot of other devotees are on the call. So hopefully you guys can pitch in and help me out. So I'll start with the prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet. Before reciting this Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadev, the author. Nashtaprayashu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtaki. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam and by rendering this of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Om Agyanandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. I was born in the darkest ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. So, Hari Prabhu, just a little correction. Maybe we should read, text 17 to 19 instead of 20, because those are grouped together in our
No problem.
Yeah, so also I'm gonna take a little bit of help from the Bhagavad Subodhini, which is excellent resource to understand Srimad Bhagavatam. I'm sure a lot of devotees must be having it. If you don't, please get in touch with Hari Prabhu. He can get you one copy. So just to recap what we read so far, this chapter 5 in first canto is basically Narada's instruction on Srimad Bhagavatam for Vyasadeva. And in the beginning, Narada Muni inquires about Vyasadev's despondency. So Vyasadeva is completely despondent, and Narada Muni is addressing that why he's not satisfied, and he's inquiring about his work so far. He has completed so many literatures like Mahabharata and many other Vedic instructions, but Vyasadeva is not happy. So then Vyasadeva, is requesting Narada Muni to find his deficiency. Like like he's the most scholar. We cannot even compare Vyasadev's knowledge. He's a literal incarnation of Krishna, but he's asking Narada Muni to find the faults or deficiencies in his work. So, and that is also with such humility. He's saying, yes, you are absolutely right. I ask you about the root cause of my dissatisfaction, despite of all my qualifications. So, not even a tinge of pride that, no, what are you talking about? I have written so many books and so many instructions, and still you are saying that there is some problem. and he's glorifying Narad Muni, that he knows everything, and he's all pervasive, so he has to help him. And then Narad Muni goes on to this section where he's describing the importance of glorifying Lord Krishna. So first, Narad Muni diagnoses two defects. The first one is that Vyasadeva has insufficient glorification of the Lord. So far, whatever he has compiled, there is not a lot of description about glorification of the Lord. So he's asking that, please add some Lord's spotless glories. And just the philosophy does not satisfy Lord's senses. That is worthless. Narad Muni is saying. And the other defect is that he has emphasized a lot on the four purusharthas, which is dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. So with that, we will read today that how those things can take us up and down, but up and down meaning in this material world, but it's not very useful. And then Narad Muni goes on explaining that how there are different types of literatures, materialistic literature, then transcendental literatures. And then he's saying, in our last session we heard that bhakti is the only valuable asset. And there are so many ways to go back to Godhead, but it's very difficult. Krishna says that without bhakti, other paths are not very easy. So here Narad Muni is giving the thumbs up to that yes, bhakti is the only valuable asset. And then he goes on to glorify Lord, and giving the glorification to this process of bhakti. Now today's section is how we can progress in bhakti and how the credit in bhakti stays forever. This is something extremely important and very hopeful. Our scriptures, they are not supposed to be give us burden, or of course it is just like mirror. It's gonna show us our the reality, but it's not gonna break us, saying that no, this is, you are all, it's all fallen, and this is the category of fallen souls, and you are stuck here, good luck. No, it's very hopeful scripture. It's Krishna is very merciful, so his this incarnation as Srimad Bhagavatam is also very hopeful. So today we will be reading that how the process of bhakti stays forever with us, and it does not go away anywhere, unlike whatever achievements we have had in our materialistic endeavors. So Hari Prabhu, do you want to share the screen? We'll quickly read one verse at a time.
Sure. You want 17?
Yes, Prabhu. We'll read 5:17, 5:18, and 5:19 today.
Sure. Yeah, you should see it.
Jai. Thank you, Prabhu. So, Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 5, Text 17. Tyaktva sadharmam charanambujam harer bhajan apakvotha pate tato yadi yatrakva vabhadram abud amusyakim kovartha apto bhajatam swadharmatah. Synonyms: Tyaktva, having forsaken; Swadharma, one's own occupational engagement; Charana ambujam, the lotus feet; Hare, of Lord Hari; Bhajan, in the course of devotional service; Apakva, immature; Atha, for the matter of; Patet, falls down; Tata, from that place; Yadi, if; Yatra, whereupon; Qua, what sort of; Va, or, usually sarcastically. Abhadram, unfavorable. Abhut, shall happen. Amusya, of him. Kim, nothing. Kah, va, artha, what interest. Apata, obtain. Abhajatam, of the non-devotee. Swadharmata, being engaged in occupational service. The translation. So, one who has forsaken his material occupations to engage in the devotional service of the Lord may sometimes fall down while in an immature stage. Yet, there is no danger of his being unsuccessful. On, on the other hand, a non devotee, though fully engaged in occupational duties, does not gain anything. So just right there, just from the translation, it seems so hopeful that just by performing any devotional service, there are still chances. Narad Muni is confirming here that there is the devotee who are performing, the devotee who is performing the devotional service may sometimes fall down with an immature stage, not completely um, understanding or not completely achieving the goal, which is self-realization, and to understand that our eternal position is to love the Godhead. So we will move on to the purport. As far as the duties of the mankind are concerned, there are innumerable duties. Every man is bound not only to his parents, family members, society, country, humanity, other living beings, the demigods, etc., but also to the great philosophers, poets, scientists, etc. It is enjoined in the scriptures that one can relinquish all such duties and surrender unto the service of the Lord. So if one does not, so if one does so and becomes successful in the discharge of his devotional service unto the Lord, it is well and good. But it so happens sometimes that one surrenders himself unto the service of the Lord by some temporary sentiment, and in the long run, due to so many other reasons, he falls down from the path of service by undesirable association. There are so many instances of this in the histories. Bharat Maharaj was obliged to take his birth as a stag due to his intimate attachment to a stag. He thought of this stag when he died. As such, in the next birth, he became a stag. So, stag is basically a male deer. Um, Although he did not forget the incident of the previous birth. Similarly, Chitraketu also fell down due to his offenses at the feet of Shiva. But in spite of all this, the stress is given here to surrendering unto the lotus feet of the Lord, even if there is a chance of falling down. Because even though one falls down from the prescribed duties of devotional service, he will never forget the lotus feet of the Lord. Once engaged in the devotional service of the Lord, one will continue the service in all circumstances. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is said that even a small quantity of devotional service can save one from the most dangerous position. There are many instances of such examples in history. Ajamil is one of them. Ajamil, in his early life, was a devotee, but in his youth he fell down. Still, he was saved by the Lord at the end. So, we will first understand this very verse, and then we will move on to the next one. So here again, I'm gonna be using this word this hopeful word, because we know that how there are so many duties we are surrounded by. There are the duties that we sometimes mentally create for ourselves and say, no, this is my highest priority right now, and because of that, there are a lot of distractions, in performing our devotional service. But despite that, here Narad Muni is saying that give up all other engagements, just like it is instructed in the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna is saying that sarva dharman parityaja, right? Give up all other engagement and simply surrender unto me. So if somebody, though, here it is said that, out of sentiment, without understanding, which is basically, sometimes, in the beginning we don't know what it's called, but sometimes we get a lot of enthusiasm and a lot of joy in performing the devotional service and practicing Krishna consciousness. And then out of sentiment, one comes to Krishna. And there are so many duties in life, like here Prabhupada is saying, family life, and then duty for the country, and so many other duties. And just but what if one gives up everything and simply comes to Krishna? What happens to him out of sentiment? Now that is important. So Narad Muni is saying that swadharma, which is, everyone has got some occupational duty. So if he gives it up, and which is Krishna is instructing that, give up all the duties, all your material responsibilities. Someone takes that literally, and here again Narad Muni is saying that charanam bhujam hare, and just surrender unto the Lord, lotus feet of the Lord, and begin devotional service. Then after some time, I mean, there are many examples. When Srila Prabhupada came, this is he's giving this information in one of his classes, that when he came in the US and he started spreading Krishna consciousness, in the beginning there were lots and lots of people pouring in. Some people are coming in just from the word of mouth, that hey, there is a very nice Swami here, he is giving free food. Some people are saying, hey, come here, you will get high here. They come to Srila Prabhupada, and after few days, after few weeks, after few months, first there were 5 people, then 10, 15, 20, 100, and they started working for Prabhupada. They actually were helping Prabhupada in spreading Krishna consciousness in New York, and they were working for him. But after some time, they realized that, this is not working. So Prabhupada is saying that yes, there is a possibility that one may come by sentiment, and Krishna is also saying that 4 types of pious people come, and if one is coming and their desires are not fulfilled, then they just came for their gain. They did not come to please the Lord or to understand what is supposed to be learned from the scriptures, what is supposed to be learned from the pure devotees of the Lord. So because one may come out of sentiment, then after staying in the process for some time, they may find it difficult, and they might say that, oh, what is this Krishna consciousness, and let me do something else, this is too much. 4 a.m. cold showers, it's not it's not easy. We are meeting so many wonderful Vaishnavas, thanks to Hari Prabhu. He's bringing all kinds of great association of these devotees in New York. These devotees, their schedule, it is so hard to imagine, starting from 3 a.m. and some devotees from 2 a.m. and all day long simply performing devotional service in all kinds of forms. So here Prabhupada is saying that there are a lot of people who joined him in the beginning, but they lost enthusiasm, and now that could be so many reasons that they lost their enthusiasm, but it happens, it is possible, and they go back to their old living standards. So Narad Muni here is saying that even a person joins Krishna consciousness, that after giving up all other occupational duties, and without being mature, that is out of sentiments, they don't really, and they meaning even me, and it's not understood things correctly, and sometimes someone comes and gives me some feedback, and I say, what, how come I did so nicely. So if one's understanding is not high, and they don't understand the essence of bhakti, then there are 100% chance that fall down is coming for that person. So that is the reason. First, one has to approach the devotees. One has to approach Srimad Bhagavatam. One has to approach the Lord with a very humble and surrendered mood. And so fall down. That is a very interesting thing. Why? What exactly is fall down, and why does it happen? So first we'll see the reason that why fall down happens. So fall down is happening because so Maya Devi, the illusory energy of the Lord, she's very strong. We have heard in many places in the scripture that how strong she is, and it is not, we cannot win over Maya. How can we win over Maya? We cannot. Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita that yes, you can. No, actually, Krishna is saying that it is very difficult. And can anyone remember that verse? Devi Yesha Gunamai
Maya Dhruteya Mam Yeve Prapadyante Maya Idam Tarantara.
Tarantite. Thank you, Navin Krishna Prabhu. So Krishna is clearly saying that this divine energy of mind, which is consisting of three modes of material nature, mode of goodness, mode of passion, and mode of ignorance, which is very difficult to overcome. And only those who surrender to Lord Krishna, only that person can cross beyond Maya Dhyaya, and Maya Eda Tarantite. What is it, Prabhu?
Idam Tarantara.
Tarantite. Yeah, so they can easily cross beyond it. So we cannot overcome Maya, first of all. It is very difficult. I mean, meaning, here in this context. So that it's not easy. It's not easy to overcome Maya, because Maya Devi is also Krishna's energy. And if you say, no, I can take over Krishna's energy, now that is another illusion. So, but it's not that we can overcome Maya, but when we take shelter of Lord Krishna, and when we take up to devotional service, Maya gives up on us. We don't overcome Maya, but Maya gives up on the devotees. Maya says, okay, leave this person alone. At the same time, it is Maya is always around. It's not that now that, okay, this person has started performing devotional service, now the Maya is not gonna look at that person anymore. No, Maya is always going side by side. Prabhupada is saying that just like how Krishna is all pervading, Maya is also all pervading. And yeah, it is here, in this verse, it is said that Krishna is personally saying that it is very difficult to overcome, and the grip of Maya is very strong. It is not easy at all. And because of that, why even one comes, why even one is controlled, gripped by Maya. So here is another very famous verse, that Krishna bhulya jiva bhoga vanchakare pashate maya tare jhapatya dhare. When an individual soul forgets his real eternal relationship with God and tries to lord over the material nature or resources, that condition, that forgetful condition, is called Maya, illusion. This word jhapatya dhare is like embracing, and Prabhupada is he was trying to explain this, that how this works, that as soon as one forgets Krishna, and that's why we are all here, because we wanted to forget Krishna, sadly and unfortunately. So forgetting Krishna, meaning we want to take shelter of Maya. That is it's very, again, a famous saying by Prabhupada, that if you don't serve Krishna, then you serve Maya. So there are the two things. One is that the materialistic person, and they are always engaged in the activity of sense gratification and all the material gains and lording over the material nature and forgetting Krishna. And then there are transcendentalists, the devotees of the Lord. So even though they have not forgotten, but they are still and yes, and they are also not interested in the sense gratification, and they are interested in Krishna. But then there are those who have forgotten Krishna. Then there are those who have not forgotten Krishna, and then there are those who are in the middle, who are transitioning from this category to that. So I mean, majority, I mean, at least those who are at the very beginning stage of devotional service, of bhakti, are basically just trying to, cut down, dovetail the material desires, and trying to pray to Krishna that, please don't let Maya's clutches on me. So slowly that happens, that transition. But the point is that it's not easy to overcome Maya, and we just have to take shelter of Lord Krishna with the hope that yes, Krishna will say to Maya Devi that okay, don't bother this devotee. But since Prabhupada also said that Maya is always around, side by side along with Krishna. So as soon as there is a little slack in Krishna consciousness, and there it is, Maya Devi will capture and we'll be back to square one. So here, now again going to this verse, it is said that Narad Muni is saying that if one is not very much what is the verse? So even though one has fallen in immature stage, yet there is no danger of his being unsuccessful. There is no loss whatsoever. And Prabhupada is saying here that even though when someone is come under the clutches of Maya, but because they have performed devotional service, that spiritual credit will not be lost at all. So it is still good. Any devotional service performed, that is not going anywhere, even if the person has gone away or gone back. So here it is said that yatra kwa va abhadram amusya kim ko vartha aptobha. Yeah. So in now comparing with the person who have who are simply sticking to the formalities of religious principles without any development of love of God, simply following the routine work, in comparison to that person, those who surrender to Krishna either by sentiment or some other way, or some with proper understanding, but still falls down, that man is still better to those who are simply performing the formalities, and those who are not performing any formalities at all. So this category is much better than that. So there is no loss that we have understood, but it is rather a gain. It is a gain, and Prabhupada is saying that how is it gain? Krishna is confirming in Bhagavad Gita that in 641, that an unsuccessful yogi, after many years of enjoyment on the planets of the pious living entities, is born into a family of righteous people, or into a rich aristocratic family. So that was the question raised by Arjuna, that what happens to those yogis, those practitioners that after at the end of life they have not successfully completed their exam, which is to awaken the love for Godhead. Then what happens to that? And Krishna is saying that yeah. So if Arjuna is asking that if one person is engaged in bhakti and cannot execute, so does he lose anything? What happens, and what happens to the spiritual credit? And Krishna is saying no, nothing happens to them. They what will happen is their position is much better than at least those who are not practicing, and they will take birth in a brahmana family, a devotee's family, or a rich aristocratic family. Then again Krishna is saying that when we are here, Krishna is saying that into the family of a brahmana, of the real brahmana. Now again, we all know, there are those brahmanas who are by birth Brahmana, and then those Brahmanas who are qualified to become a Brahmana. So, and we have this the initiation process, and where we the twice born, and the previous thing is gone, and now we are qualified, and then one becomes Brahmana by performing by chanting the holy names of the Lord, by following the four regulatory principles, and then there are many other qualities of the Brahmana. Once those are performed, then they are qualified to become Brahmana. So this is the Brahmana that is referred to when, if someone is unsuccessful, they take birth in such a family. So Narad Muni is ultimately, advices that induce everyone to be engaged in Krishna consciousness, even though if it is fall down, never mind, there is no loss. And that is the process of bhakti, that imagine if one is trying, and by Krishna's mercy and by their sincerity, if they have become successful, that is the greatest thing ever. Now they can go back home, back to Godhead. No more miseries, no more misery, no more sufferings in this material world. And if they have not been successful, then no worries. What is the big deal? We will it's a big deal, but they will at least have gained something. They have taken one step closer to Krishna, or maybe a half step or a quarter step. So but imagine the situation where if one becomes successful, and Prabhupada is quoting here in one of his classes, that how it is the greatest boon because one has achieved the highest perfection. And Prabhupada is, I'm looking at the verse, I think it is, I don't know, but this Mam upetya konteya dukhalayam ashashvatam napnuvanti mahatmana samsiddhim paramam gata. Samsiddhim paramam gata is the highest perfection, that after attaining me, the great souls who are the yogis in devotion never return to this temporary world, which is full of miseries. Dukhalayam ashashvatam. And because why they won't return? Because they have attained the highest perfection. So that is the win in this process. There is no loss, there is only win-win. So if someone becomes successful in Krishna consciousness, they achieve great success in life. And if one falls down, still there is no loss, because they will just continue where they left off. And that's why here, coming to the end, that Narad Muni is saying that without coming to Krishna consciousness, if he simply engages in this animalistic way of living, which is just to eat, sleep, mate, and defend, then they don't gain anything. The non-devotees, the last part of the translation says that, on the other hand, a non-devotee, though fully engaged in occupational duties, do not gain anything. All this the bank balance and everything is there in life, but there is no Krishna, that is of no use. He does not gain anything, nothing will be carried forward. So and versus those who are without even any knowledge, any understanding, just by sentiment, even just by sentiment, one is coming and taking up to Krishna consciousness. For them, they still have a win situation, they are still better even though they fall down. So that is the conclusion, from this verse 5:17. So any thoughts so far, any questions or any corrections before we move on to the next verse? Okay, we can move on to the next verse then. Who do you want to share 5:18? Chat. Yeah. So Canto 5, Canto 1, Chapter 5, Text 18. Tasyaiva heto prayate ko vido na labhyate yad brahmatam upariyad adah. Talabhyate dukavad ananyata sukham kale na sarvatra gavira ramsaha. Tasya, for that purpose, eva, only, heto, reason, prayateta, should endeavor, kovido, one who is philosophically inclined, na labhyate, is not obtained, yet, what, brahmatam, wandering, upari ada, from top to bottom, tat, that, labhyate, can be obtained, dukhavat, dukhavat, like the miseries, anyatah, as a result of previous work, sukham, sense enjoyment, kalena, in course of time, sarvatra, everywhere, gabhira, suitable, ramsaha, progress. Translation. Now Narad Muni is continuing that how first is that even if someone is performing devotional service with simply out of sentiment, that is still better, there is no loss, versus those who are just engaged in material gains, they don't gain anything. And then he's continuing to say, persons who are actually intelligent and philosophically inclined should endeavor only for that purposeful end, which is not obtainable even by wandering from the topmost planet, Brahmaloka, down to the lowest planet, Pataloka. As far as happiness derived from sense enjoyment is concerned, it can be obtained automatically in course of time, just as in course of time we obtain miseries even though we do not desire them. Two sides of the coin in this material world, happiness and sadness, always come along with each other. So it is again confirmed here that that will be automatically obtained, because that's the whole point. Okay, before we go into the discussion, let's read Prabhupada's purport. Every man and everywhere is trying to obtain the greatest amount of sense enjoyment by various endeavors. So, some men are busy engaged in trade, industry, economic development, political supremacy, etc. And some of them are engaged in fruitive work to become happy in next life by attaining higher planets. It is said that on the moon, the inhabitants are fit for greater sense enjoyment by drinking somaras, and the Pitralok is obtained by good charitable work. So there are various programs for sense enjoyment, either during this life or in the life after death. So it is very, Prabhupada is saying that there are various programs for sense enjoyment, as if this is because Prabhupada is understanding that what is the mindset of materialistic people. If they don't find happiness in this spot, then they try to find in another spot. But there is no Krishna. Without Krishna, they are just looking one area to after another, and there is no happiness. Even though there is little happiness, it comes along with the sadness. And Prabhupada is also explaining that how different planets have different enjoyment propensities there. So where we are. Some are trying to reach the moon or other planets by some mechanical arrangement, for they are very anxious to get into such planets without doing any good work. But it is not to happen. By the law of the Supreme, different places are meant for different grades of living beings according to the work they have performed. By good work only, as prescribed in the scriptures, one can obtain birth in a good family, opulence, good education, and good bodily features. So, we see also that even in this life, one obtains a good education or money by good work. Similarly, in our next birth, we get such desirable positions only by good work. Otherwise, it is not so happen that two persons born in the same place at the same time are seen differently placed according to the previous work. So now this is all around activities, the work. Prabhupada is saying good work, and how one, just by doing such work, one can get the results, which is all the concept of karmas. But all such material positions are impermanent. The positions in the topmost Brahma Loka and in the lowest Patala Loka are also changeable according to our own work. The philosophically inclined person must not be tempted by such changeable positions. He should try to get into the work of permanent life of bliss and knowledge, where he is not to be forced to come back again to the miserable material world, either in this or any other planet. Miseries and mixed happiness are two features of material life, and they are obtained in Brahmaloka and in other lokas also. They are obtained in the life of demigods and also in the life of dogs and hogs. The mixed miseries and happiness which are available, which are for both, for everyone who is between Brahmaloka and other lokas, and in any shape or form, they all get this combination. So the miseries and the mixed happiness of all living beings are uh, only of different degree and quality, but no one is free from the miseries of birth, death, old age, and disease. Similarly, everyone has his destined happiness. So also, no one can get more or less of these things simply by personal endeavors. Even if they are obtained, they can be lost again. One should not therefore waste time with these flimsy things. One should only endeavor to go back to Godhead. That should be the mission of everyone's life. So now we have two sets. Previous verse was very hopeful, very promising, that you perform little devotional service, there is no loss. That is the greatest thing you can do. And in this verse now, it is understood that how people who are intelligent and philosophically inclined, they should not fall in that trap that now we are looking for enjoyment, so let's look in this planet, that planet, in this body, that body, in this home, that home, this family, that family. It's gonna get some happiness, but that is always gonna be enjoined with some sort of misery. And here Prabhupada is very clearly explaining that they can escape some miseries. They can, in this life, we might have a very good body where we are nicely placed in a house, in a bed, nice comforter. Outside there is negative degrees weather, and inside there is nice warm weather. But the moment that credit runs out, then we might become a tree or a dog or anything else that is on the street and shivering in cold. So it is just a matter of time. It is just a matter of time that our balance runs out. And here Prabhupada is confirming that again, that they can escape this mixed happiness and miseries, but nobody from Brahmaloka to other lokas, nobody can escape the miseries of Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi, birth, death, old age, and disease. And Narad Muni is saying that it is automatically obtained in the course of time. We don't even have to worry about it. And on top of it, if one is performing devotional service, those things are times hundred and thousands. Everything that materialistic enjoys, the person in devotional service enjoys in a very higher manner. Actually, if you think about it, nice prasadam, nice kirtan, and amazing association of the devotees. There is, that, I mean, of course, we are all in this material world together, but that is that we are also under the modes of material nature, so we are all affected. So there are some contamination still left, and because of that one might experience something not so wonderful, but it is still, if consider compared to other the other side of the spectrum, all just materialistic association, materialistic way of living. Now that is the even worse. And that's where Prabhupada is previous word Naradmuni said that no, more than that, just do devotional service with whatever sentiments you have. You will and you will get only gains. There is no loss. So here now, the concept of going up and down is given. Going to the higher planet, going to the lower planet, just for the sake of enjoyment, that is given. So now, who goes there? And why would they go there? Why would someone prefer to go to other planets? And I was just having discussion with my brother yesterday that how there in this material world, we are trying to find so many happiness, we are running out of resources. Now we are trying to arrange our ride to other planets like Mars and moons and all kinds of programs. So what is it gonna do? There is no happiness there, at least for us in this material body, in this earthly body. There is no enjoyment. We are gonna dig hole in Mars and then stay like rabbits and all. What happens to all these animals who during winter they dig the hole so that they can survive? They come out, they die. Now that is the happiness. That is the reason they are going to travel to the different planet. But who can stop them? Prabhupada is saying that's not happening. But they can go there by their activities, by their karma. Now all these karma kandis, the real karmis, they can perform a really good charity and help others and gather all kinds of piety. But there is no Krishna. There is no Krishna in their actions. So now they will accumulate all their good karma. In scriptures we have been given the knowledge of what are the karmas. There is a karma, there is a vikarma, then there is karma. These are the three divisions of activities. And those ordinary men, they are basically they are even though they are just running after money and enjoyment, they are not just karmis. They are not doing any piety. They are actually vikarmis. And Prabhupada is giving this example here that the real karma is just like a thief. Thief is stealing. That is also certain kind of activity. It is not an inactivity. So we cannot say that that is bona fide activity. He is also planning. He is also making plan to steal, on how to steal, whose house to go and steal, which floor to go and steal. Up, you can go upstairs and you can go downstairs. All that activity is planned. That is um, none of that is bona fide, and none of that is gonna considered as just the karma. It is all vikarma, because all these activities according to the shastra is called vikarma. Vikarma means counteractive. It is a counter activity. Activity means you have to work legally. That is activity. If you say that I am very active in stealing, then that is not excuse. So then the government will say that okay, now you go to jail. So that is considered as vikarma. And knowingly, unknowingly, here people are just stealing the wealth from other people, and they might be thinking, no, I am doing the good karma. No, according to scriptures, that is not the case. So by such activities, now one is gonna go to either up heavenly planets or to the hellish planets. And Prahlad Maharaj is also giving a very nice instruction on that from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 5, Text 30, that because of their uncontrolled senses, persons too addicted to materialistic life make progress towards hellish conditions, and repeatedly chew that which has already been chewed. Their inclinations toward Krishna is never aroused, either by the instructions of others, by their own efforts, or by a combination of both. So eventually, with those people, eventually they are just gonna go down and down. That's it. There is no because the senses are not controlled, and because of that, their animalistic propensity, they are gonna continue to do weak karma, and at the end there is no happiness. There is no happiness, only the place, a nice spot in the darkest region of the hellish conditions. So what about those who are doing good karma by charity and things like that? That is really good, that is really nice. It is considered very moral and ethical in this our current society. Then they will go to the heavenly planets to enjoy their to basically spend their good credit. But Narad Muni says that one should try to achieve that thing that cannot be gained by even going up or down. Up meaning the higher planetary systems. And how much have we heard? Have we do we have any examples of heavenly planets, people, the residents of heavenly planets who have been engaging, in enjoyment there? One example that I heard from Prabhupada is Nalakuver and Manigriva. They became the Arjuna, the Yamala Arjuna trees, right? So they were in heavenly planets enjoying to their fullest, and they even forgot their position. They were demigods and they fell down. So it is literally, we have examples where it is clearly said that even by going up there is no point. One will enjoy there, but it is not. That's the ultimate thing, right? We are not here to enjoy, we are here to give enjoyment to Krishna. So here Narad Muni is saying that Kalena Sarvatra Gabhira Ramsaha. We should always try for Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, even if we go in higher standard of life, sometimes our consciousness is so degraded that, just like the two sons of Kuvera, even they had to come down and take birth in the form of trees. That is the worst. Standing naked. Prabhupada said in one of the lectures that being a tree is the harshest thing. You are naked and in all the harsh conditions of cold, hot, rain. There is nothing. You can't move. And imagine if someone is restless and they got the form of tree. That's the hell on the earth. So there is every chance of falling down from any place, any position, no matter from Brahmaloka to the Patal Loka. So Narad Muni is clearly saying that everyone should try to achieve that benefit of life, which is not available within any of the planetary systems. And that's why just try to save people to take Krishna consciousness movement. With Krishna consciousness only, they can escape this cycle of going up and down. They can get out of this elevator. And it is just traveling from one planet to another, one family to another, one womb to another. It is nothing but just useless endeavors. So that is what we understand from this verse. We are running out of time a little bit, but let's go through the last verse. Prabhu, do you want to share? We'll quickly read that through. Yes, Ramesh Prabhu is saying, let us all plan to steal the holy name. Okay.
Is that a good plan, Prabhu?
That's an excellent plan, Prabhu. That is just with that plan, we don't have to go to any of these planetary systems.
It's a free, Prabhu. We don't have to steal. It's a free.
It is free, but it is free and nobody's still taking. That is the saddest part. It is free. It is available. It is being given by so many merciful devotees, and the special mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It's been given to all the unqualified souls, and unfortunately, it's not taken. But then we, still have to engage them. So, all right. Text 19. Navaijano jatu kathan chanavrajen mukunda seviya Nyavad angasam shritam smaran mukunda gri upaguha nam punar vihatum ichena rasa griho jana. So I'll go to the translation directly, Prabhu. My dear Vyasa, even though a devotee of Lord Krishna sometimes falls down somehow or other, he certainly does not undergo material existence like others, fruity workers, etc. Because a person who has once relished the taste of the lotus feet of the Lord can do nothing but remember the ecstasy again and again. Purport: a devotee of the Lord automatically becomes uninterested in the enhancement of material existence because he is rasagraha, or one who has tasted the sweetness of the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. There are certainly many instances where the devotees of the Lord have fallen down due to uncongenial association, like just like fruity workers who are always prone to degradation. But even though he falls down, a devotee is never to be considered the same as fallen karmi. So here Prabhupada is saying that how the instances when the devotee of the Lord falls down, and Prabhupada is bringing this concept of association. The uncongenial association means the association of those who are not friendly, who are not very pleasant to be with. Those are the association Prabhupada is saying that it is, there are certainly many instances where devotees of Lord have fallen because of this bad association. And it is such an important thing. Having association is, I would say, that is the most important thing. Is even at least for those who still do not have the taste of the holy name, at least for those who are still not enthusiastically performing the devotional service, for those who are, the intentions are trying to please Krishna, but again those intentions are changing every day and night. So for those, association is the key. As soon as one hits that, the if one hears that part of mind which says, no, you know what, don't go to this program, that's okay, let's go to this program where there is so much fun, there are movies, there is, like Adi Gadadhar Prabhu was telling, that going on, mundane vacations and going to the movies, traveling, and there is no idea of Krishna, that is the lowest material enjoyment one can have, lowest material enjoyment. So it's all can be avoided with someone's eagerness to associate with pure devotees and other Vaishnavas. So, but here also Prabhupada is saying that even though he has fallen down, a devotee is never to be considered the same as fallen karmi. A karmi suffers the result of his own fruitive reactions, whereas a devotee is reformed by chastisement directed by the Lord himself. The suffering of an orphan and the suffering of a beloved child of the king are not one and the same. An orphan is really poor because he has no one to take care of him, but a beloved son has a rich man. Although he appears to be on the same level as the orphan, he is always under the vigilance of the capable father. And here I can think of the example of the cat's mouth. What is it, Prabhu? The monkey and the cat example, that when the devotee is taking shelter of the Lord, now uh, up to Krishna, that there is no problem. But when those who are not understanding Krishna's mercy on them, and they are performing their regular duties, they are given up, uh, yeah, so they don't take shelter, so they are basically orphans. And at the time of death, those who have the shelter of Krishna will have great benediction from the Lord. So one has to take shelter of the Lord and should at least not be orphan, and should even though one does not develop the love, but at least still one is considering themselves that no, I am still no one, I am still so insignificant. Even though I don't have love for the Lord, still Lord is the one who can save me. Then we are all the beloved son of the rich man. So, continuing, a devotee of the Lord, due to wrong association, sometimes imitates the fruitive workers. The fruitive workers want to lord it over the material world. Similarly, a neophyte devotee foolishly thinks of accumulating some material power in exchange of devotional service. Such foolish devotees are sometimes put into difficulties by the Lord Himself. As a special favor, He may remove all material paraphernalia. By such action, the bewildered devotee is forsaken by all friends and relatives, and so he comes to his senses again by the mercy of the Lord and is set right to execute his devotional service. So even though it may appear, if the devotee is suffering, if the devotee is going through a lot of hardships, it is, Prabhupada is saying, it is a special favor. It is not the punishment. And that's how a devotee should think. If something good happens, the devotee's consciousness is, I don't deserve it, but Krishna is so merciful that he is giving me all kinds of facilities so that I can worry less about those things and worry more about my devotional practice. And when something bad happens, a devotee thinks Krishna is just so kind. Worst thing should have happened, but only a little bad happened to me. That is the consciousness of a pure devotee. And here Prabhupada is saying that yes, for those devotees, it is a special favor that Krishna will take away all the things, put him in a position where there are so many problems or some problems, so that he comes to his senses. Now this is also very important. He comes to his senses again by the mercy of the Lord. So it is like Krishna is basically giving us a situation of make it or break it. It is up to now us. Krishna has given all kinds of situations of problems, and by all friends and relatives are gone. But in that case, a person who has genuine eagerness to surrender to Krishna, they will say, okay, this is the time for me to go back to the devotional service, instead of saying, this whole thing is waste. Now that's where the real test comes in. So the lesson is that we should never give up on Krishna, no matter what happens. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is also said that such fallen devotees are given a chance to take birth in the family of the qualified brahmanas or in a rich mercantile family. A devotee in such a position is not as fortunate as one who is chastised by the Lord and put into a position seemingly of helplessness. The devotee who becomes helpless by the will of the Lord is more fortunate than those who are born in good families. The fallen devotees born in a good family. Oh, I lost the track. The fallen devotees born in a good family may forget the lotus feet of the Lord because they are less fortunate. But the devotee who is put into a forlorn condition is more fortunate because he swiftly returns to the lotus feet of the Lord, thinking himself helpless all around. So, yes, Krishna does give the second chance. Not second chance, Krishna gives unlimited chances. Every day Krishna is giving chance. Today we could not chant. Krishna is saying, don't worry. You wake up tomorrow, chant again. Today one could not follow the regulatory principles. Tomorrow is another start. Krishna is giving the chance every minute. But it is the choice of the practitioner, of the person, to either take that chance or still waste it. and then wait for another chance. So here Krishna is saying that even when Krishna gives the chance, if one is not successful at the end of life, take birth in a family of a qualified Brahmana, the real Brahmana, or in a rich aristocratic family, that is a chance. But for those who are suffering, who are having, chastised by the Lord, now here what I am understanding is chastised by the devotees of the Lord. Don't we all get any services we do, and sometimes we have feedback, criticism, but that is not the devotee, that is the Lord himself through the devotee is trying to help us. So we should always think, and now I'm telling this to myself also, that whenever some feedback comes to the service that I gave my 100%, but still there are problems in that. Now that is Krishna is telling me to improve, to that is better than failing at the end of life and then going into the womb of a Vaishnava, another Vaishnava family or a rich family. So pure devotional service is so spiritually relishable that yes, Hari Prabhu is saying, make this the last life, no more repeated birth and death. Jai. Pure devotional service is so spiritually relishable that a devotee becomes automatically uninterested in material enjoyment. That is the sign of perfection in progressive devotional service. A pure devotee continuously remembers the lotus feet of the Lord Sri Krishna and does not forget him even for a moment, not in even in exchange of all the opulence of the three worlds. So last paragraph of this series of 3 verses is basically giving us the goal, that what is the goal for all the sadhakas, all the practitioners should be. So very promising, very hopeful 3 verses. It gives the so much power, in this process of bhakti. The process of bhakti is not lost, stays forever, and there is only gain. Even and Prabhupada is saying the progressive devotional service. Now this is the first time I actually, when I was reading this, I really like that part. This is a progressive devotional service. This is the path of progressive devotional service. No one can just go to bed and wake up tomorrow and is a pure devotee. No, it's a progressive. So one step at a time, and definitely we can take shelter of the Lord. We can take shelter of Srila Prabhupada. We can take shelter of all the Vaishnavas, so that we can one day come to the platform of pure devotees who take so much pleasure and they have no interest in these material activities and these material gains. Only gain is from Krishna. So that's all I had to share today. Thank you so much for kindly listening, and if there are any corrections, please help me here, and if there are any questions, we can direct them to all the qualified Vaishnavas as well.
Hare Krishna, Alek Prabhu. Thank you for the very nice lecture, and I liked everything you said. I have no complaints on my side.
I have a couple of comments, Prabhu, when somebody.
Sure. Yeah. Nami, Ramesh Prabhu raised his hand, but if Nami Prabhu wants to go first.
Yes, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Alek Prabhu. Very nice class. You are able to hear me, right, Prabhu, Alek Prabhu?
Very clearly, Prabhu.
Very good. Thank you. Yeah, very nice class, Prabhu, and all the points which you covered was very thoughtful, and it guides. So the one question I just had was, as the fundamental of all these things is basically to differentiate between material and spiritual, and we have a higher nature. No, we should not be forgetting that. But even though our desire is there, this I would not just blame it on Maya or illusion, but why is that we tend to forget that as we go through life? So when I'm hearing the class, everything is okay, it's so clear, all those things. As soon as the class is over, immediately I go back to my. So do you have your any thoughts or any this thing on that? How this can be
on a sustained basis. How can we keep making progress? So, Hare Krishna.
Wow, Prabhu, that's a very excellent point. That how we hear in the lecture, we hear while we read, we get this understanding. But once it's over, we go back to our roots. And it was there in the 17th verse as well. It was there that those who are performing devotional service and they lose their thing and they go back, they go back to their previous business. So, well, I can think of 2 points, but others please feel free to add. One, what I think is, even there is a fallback, even though there is no taste afterwards, at least there is no loss, there is still gain. And it's a very amazing thing that Krishna is so forgive Krishna's forgiving nature is so amazing that it is like Krishna is giving us things so that we can come back to him, but we are taking it for some time and we are saying, okay, no, Krishna, I am not interested again. Then again we come back. So Krishna actually likes that. Krishna, I mean, of course, it is not that that's what Krishna wants us to do, but at least we are coming back. Today something happened, we did a little devotional service, we again went back to our not Krishna conscious life, and then again tomorrow maybe a little spark. So by that, little by little, and that is why the last paragraph of the 19th text, it is said progressive devotional service. So at least even one has that that endeavor where, okay, I will do my best. I will not do the best which is said in the scripture, which is said by all our previous acharyas, but at least I will try my best, and Krishna will absolutely take that any day rather than not trying at all. And another point I can think of is, it is because of the offenses, and because our we Prabhupada and many other Vaishnavas have said so many times, we have come to this stage of life after millions and millions of lifetimes. That means we have so much of contamination accumulated in our hearts. Now it's not that easy, sometimes we scrub it, we see the glimpse of it, and then some dust is again covered that mirror of our heart. So if that happens, either two things: one is to just continue what we are doing. It's okay if our mind and heart goes into all this material sense enjoyment, but whenever we get a chance, we again continue. Or we can just give the hard stop to all those things and say, no, I'm gonna scrub as hard as possible to this in this very moment, in this time. And Krishna will definitely give the intelligence, remembrance, and the strength to continue the devotional service without any ulterior motive. I think that these are the 2 points that I can think of. But others, Navin Krishna Prabhu, Hari Prabhu, please feel free to add anything. Sadhu Chaitanya Prabhu is also there.
This same question asked to Prabhupada. He said in one sentence, desire is not strong.
Yes.
Because if it is strong, Krishna will help. If desire is not strong, even Krishna cannot do anything. So when we sit in the class, we feel so empowered, enthusiastic. When we dance, we are influenced. When we talk something else, there we are influenced. And when you come out, when you see something else, we follow that. Because why? Chapala chitta. Chitta means intelligence. So intelligence has to be empowered with a determination. There is no determination, which is the strong desire. There is no desire is there, but it's just a shaky. There is a strong desire; it turns into determination. Is the determination? What is the determination? Which is the focus direction. What is that objective? So what is the objective? Because right now he came here because I wanted to see, I wanted to feel. I'm here. I'm listening. I want to be approved by devotees. I just want to feel good. I want. I. So that's one of the reasons. Time to time it changes because I hear, other place changes. Other place changes, but there is no Krishna there. But that's the reason when Prabhupada asks, Prabhupada, I cannot chant 16 rounds, and your desire is not strong, potency. So the first and foremost for everything, that's where ISKCON desire key. That there's a reason why it is. Ichchadesh samadhyena dvanda mohena bharata. That desire which brought us to this material world. Why want to separate and enjoy from Krishna? So this entire facility is to facilitate that desire to become a god, trying to be the controller. When the same desire is transformed, then the same desire facilitate. Krishna sends the Guru, sends facilities, everything to facilitate that what in the desire. Then eventually the same desire will take us back. It's not chanting, it's not hearing, it's not servicing, it's not reading Bhagavatam. Before that, why you want to do that? I want Krishna. So having said that, now I just want to have a comment, which is beautifully explained the first we discussed today. What is that? The path of bhakti and path of are different. Like, karma, dhyana, jnana. Then he's saying that even if you practice bhakti, but eventually people can fall down. Because why? Objective of bhakti is missing. What is objective of bhakti? Attachment to Krishna. Always remember and never forget. So what is the other path? Karma. What is karma yoga? Objective is detachment. It's clearly explained in the Bhakti Sandarbha. Emphasis of karma yoga is detachment. Knowledge, mental speculation, and impersonalism. And the emphasis of yoga is supernatural powers. So since the emphasis is not Krishna, and then they're temporary. But even if you do the same thing in path of bhakti, I come here because I want to chant because it feels good. I get knowledge. I want to be detached. It doesn't work in Krishna's path. Path of bhakti, emphasis attached to Krishna, not detachment. By attachment, we detached automatically. Detachment we can also practice. That's one of the reasons Narad is saying here. Even practicing bhakti, people fall down because why? At the same time, contrary, if somebody is sincere, if they practice karma yoga, they can become a better than bhakti yoga because bhakti has all of them included. Karma is there, jnana is there, but that person is innocent but sincere. But what happens? The Krishna help the person, then eventually he leads to. Because karma by itself is different, jnana itself is different, but bhakti has karma, dhyana, jnana, everything. But emphasis is if we got the point. The path of bhakti, emphasis attached to Krishna. Remember, forget everything. Prabhupada Goswami said, if you just remember one thing, always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. To do that, that's the reason we are chanting. The purpose of chanting is to remember. The purpose of hearing Bhagavatam is to remember. But not like any detachment, I wanted to get out of this material world because so much of misery. Doesn't matter, who cares? That's what the Gopi says. If I want to come back again to this material world, that's what pleases to Krishna. Their emphasis is to remember Krishna, not to get out of this place. Desire so be in palace, so be in this, so be in that. Even emphasis of Hanuman to please Krishna. Ram, he says, okay, be here, become Indra, next Brahma. Everybody wants to get out of this material world. But the devotees, real devotees, then their emphasis not to get out of this, not in this and that. The emphasis how to please Krishna. Bali Maharaj, he's a pure Vaishnava. What is his next? Krishna says to become next Indra. His material world, why he has to do that? Because that pleases him to set an example. Ashwadama, like, he did all those things. He was cursed. But what Krishna wants internally, he'll become next Vyasadeva. And again, millions of years he's going to be here. So, sorry, because it was a beautiful point. Alek Prabhu hit. It was a wonderful lecture. Thank you, Prabhu. So, I just want to add this comment. But the context at the end, what I was trying to say is Patha Bhakti has including everything. And then it is explained in Bhagavad Gita also. Purpose is 3. You can see the scriptures 3. As one is Swadharma, Swabhava, and Swarup. So dharma by nature can hold us here. Swabhava, Swadharma means different occupations, different engagements. I want to do this, I want to do this. because there could be Krishna also, because still I is there. And then Swadbhava was the nature. This is my nature. This I like to do. I like to do book distribution. I want to do this. I want to do this. This is still I there. But it doesn't sustain for long, even the path of God. What sustained Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explained, Swarup. What is my operational nature, eternal nature? I'm a servant of Krishna. I don't have, I'm losing my independence. What Krishna wants, then you see the miracle. That's what he's trying to say, that you're not facilitating. You're saying that if even the path of bhakti people can fall down. But there's a two concepts Chaitanya Prabhu explains: fall down, fall off. Fall down is not bad. Even Brahma had fall down many times. But fall off is dangerous. Never fall off on path of bhakti. Fall down, we use the same earth, hold and step up, continue again. There's hope always. Use the word hope also. Fall off is very dangerous. People do mistake. No one is perfect. Krishna understand that. That's the reason we are not God. But we have to accept, since yes, fall down. Okay, we made a mistake. Do it again. Do it again. Million times you fall down. That's okay. Because at the end of the day, it's the breath of Vishnu. Billions and billions of years is breath of Vishnu. We have to have that determination, that desire strong. And I wanted to please Krishna. I'm not feeling pleased, but I want to do it. I want to keep trying. Maybe failing. Doesn't matter. Eventually, the focus is Krishna. It's not me. Not karma, gnana. So bhakti is attached to Krishna. I just want to add this point. Thank you, Prabhu. Amazing class. Wonderful.
So beautiful comments, Prabhu. So happy that you are there to give your wonderful wisdom. Yes, that's what I was thinking. Actually, this was told to me by Gokuleshwar Prabhu long time ago when he visited Columbus, and he was sharing this with our student groups, that it's every minute is the chance given by Krishna, every minute. So that's aligning exactly with what you are saying, that millions of times one can fall down, but we again step up. And that's where Krishna also sees that, okay, yeah, that's the determination that I'm looking for. And then he gives more and more and more and more taste. So majority is coming from Krishna, and we will do our little part, whatever we are capable of doing. So thank you so much, Prabhu. Any other thoughts?
Does anybody else have any other reflections, questions, comments, anything like that?
Hari,
Yes.
just one quick reminder, just for tomorrow, for the Sunday feast, we have His Holiness Ritadvija Maharaj. So he has a special request that everybody should have their camera on. So, and probably we will have to request devotees to log into some other media, like through YouTube, in case they are not able to turn on the camera. So I just wanted to give a quick reminder. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you, Hari.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, I heard that, and it was I kind of liked it. that turn on your camera or you're getting kicked. But yeah, thank you so much, Alek Prabhu, for this Bhagavatam class. It enlightened us on the Bhagavatam, and that's the goal of life, is to hear this Bhagavatam. I was just thinking about I think it was verse. Prem Sindhu Prabhu always quotes this verse 18. I've heard him since I was a kid. I was hearing verse 18. What was it? Tasyeva heto prayatete kovido na labhyate yad brahmatam uparyadha. That it's just and you actually will not hear this in the end of the you won't hear this on CNN, you won't hear this on NBC News, that any amount of happiness that you have in this world is predestined. It's like you don't have to work for it. It just comes. And the amount of suffering is also predestined, just like it can be automatically obtained automatically in course of time. Just as in course of time we obtain miseries even though we don't desire them. So we actually it's just happening. It's if they put it on CNN that you don't need to work hard to be happy, the whole world would shatter. But the Bhagavatam is making it very clear that to be happy, it's I think it's pretty much talking about as far as happiness resides from sense enjoyment. Sense enjoyment, it's predestined to how much. And I thought that was a very poignant point, because people are working so hard. Prabhupada would say, like dogs and hogs and so many animals, they're just working for the carrot, but then they're trying to get more carrot and more carrot and more carrot, but it'll never happen. It's like this, the carrot and the stick. Have you heard that? Carrot and the stick. They'll put the stick and then they'll put the string and they'll tie the carrot, and then they'll just attach the stick onto the donkey, and then it'll just keep walking to try to get to the carrot, but it's just like it'll never reach it because it's attached to itself. So I thought it was a very good point. I'd like to thank you for that. Did anybody else have anything else? Okay, we like to thank Alek Prabhu for on such a short notice of speaking of sharing Bhagavatam with us. Next week's verses are verses 20, and I will tell you when, and I will message it out in the group when I think it's 20 to 31. I think it's 10 verses.
Prabhu, it's 20, 21, 22.
Okay, we can do that. 20 to 22. So read those 3 verses by next week. It'll be great. So we'll end with Vaishnava Pranam. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya namo namaha. Antakoti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. You can unmute themselves and say big 3 Haribols for Alek Prabhu.
Haribo.
Haribo!
Haribo.
Haribo!
Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai!